One of the last things I want to talk about here today, Xbox One launch titles, install sizes revealed. And it could be anywhere up to 43 gigabytes of a game install. And I heard that the Call of Duty Ghost will be really close to that.
Yeah.
That's huge. I don't think people are wrapping their head around how big that is.
That's really big.
I mean, you figure I probably sat there for 30 minutes waiting for GTA to install. 8 measly gigs.
30 minutes it took you?
I think it was probably
took me
15
less
to
than
20
that.
minutes. It was some time. I was throwing it on a USB drive though.
Oh, that's how you did that?
Well, I had to. I got a 4 gig.
Oh, you loser.
So anyway, 43 gigabytes. You know, we talked about Shadowfall. Killzone Shadowfall is a 50 gigabyte install required.
Yeah.
No matter what, these consoles are launching at just 500 gigs. That's 1/10 of your entire hard drive with one game.
Wow.
Day one. Like, you know, this is going to become a problem real quickly if they don't initially or get out of the gate and work hard on supporting external hard drives.
How big do you think these games will get towards the end of the cycle of this console?
Jesus Christ. We talked about that a couple episodes ago.
But like how big? Like if they're starting at 50.
If it goes, here's the preface of that conversation.
Let me stop you. Do you think we'll ever see a 2 Blu-ray game like in a shipped?
Yes.
You do? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's possible too. Towards the end, it'd be like, this is on 2 Blu-rays.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
I could most definitely see that. But one's going to be install, one's going to be play. And we're going to see that. Yeah, I believe
that's
that.
Crazy.
That's nuts to think about. But I think towards the end of this life cycle, I think that once you crack 2 Blu-rays, it's time for another generation. It's time to go download only. But at that point, what the fuck kind of hard drives are we going to be talking about here to hold these games? Because if you're a person, right, I'm a person who probably plays five games a year total, with a fuckload of Call of Duty involved. And so, you know, the people who play like a lot of games as they release, what are they going to do?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. When we first kind of started getting information about these consoles, my immediate thought was 500 gigabytes seems a little small.
That's exactly what I thought.
Nowadays, a 1 terabyte hard drive, like 1 terabyte hard drive, that's pretty easy to come by. Like that, you know, you can get those relatively inexpensive. And a lot of, you know, you build a PC or anything like that, you can get a 1 terabyte hard drive in there, no problem. Most of the time you go bigger. So like when it said 500 gigs was the starting hard drive, I immediately thought, man, that seems a little bit smaller than I would have, thought next gen would start with.
I think we talked about it on the podcast way back in the day. The first run of this podcast, we talked about, I thought the next gen was going to launch at a terabyte.
Yeah, that seems like a good number.
And that just made sense to me. That was like, boom, that's the mark. That's where they need to be. And I think cost and trying to be more powerful, and I think those things come into play. And you're like, we got to cut costs somewhere. It's going to be in a hard drive. And I think they made a mad call.
I agree with you. But, you know, like when you think about it, like, don't you think that like the next version, because these console manufacturers, they're good for, you know, this is the launch version, this is the features. Then they'll have like another version, not even that long from now, maybe next Christmas.
Yeah.
Whereas like the 1 terabyte version, you know what I mean?
No, that will definitely be a thing.
You think that's what's happening?
SKUs will be a thing. That's they've done it every generation that had hard drive. I mean, you know, we've gone from 4 gigabytes on the Xbox all the way up to 250. And I think even they've done a 320 at this point. And, you know, PlayStation's done something similar. And it's just, I just think they undercut themselves day one. I think we should have started somewhere above 500 gigs. Because people are going to run into an issue real fast. Once you throw, I mean, because they want this to be the center. They want each one of these consoles.
So you're thinking about 10 games you're downloading to your hard drive to where you're getting to the point where you're tipping.
10 AAA titles. You can't, you know, you got to specify because of friggin', you know, an indie game could be megabytes.
Well, I'm just going to say 10 games just for
because
a generalization.
That's all you care about.
Well, no.
We all know you don't like indie games.
I'm not mad at that.
How's that Minecraft treating you?
But how dare you? But I'm just going to say 10 games because even if they're lower than that 50 gig mark, you're still getting close to maxing out your hard drive.
Well, they want...
Wait a second. Here's a good point. How much is the operating system? Okay, think about this. You got a 500 gig hard drive, right?
It's there. Yep.
you're not getting 500 gigs exactly. You never do. You're getting a little bit less than that, plus whatever how much is the operating system on a PS4 or Xbox One? That's a good. Well,
you got one
son.
Operating system on the PlayStation. You got 3 operating systems.
But does it take Xbox. Up a gig or 10 gigs? Because
I think, you know what I mean. I think by the time you're talking about 5 gigs lost, and maybe a little bit more allocated to potential future patches and future updates for your console itself. Because the PlayStation 3, I have 120 gig. It won't let me download shit if I get down below 20 gigs.
Really?
Real talk. It locks up. If you get down to 20 gigs, it won't let you download anything. It for some reason, it feels like it needs that much headroom.
Okay.
It's a weird thing. I discovered it. I filled 120 gigs on my PlayStation of just games and downloads and a little bit of music. Not even much.
Yeah.
I probably put 300 songs on there, which is nothing in the world when you're talking 120 gigs. The games, the updates, the downloads, the installs.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk Battlefield Bad Company 2 was like a 4 gig install.
Yeah.
And by the time I put a couple years in on that thing, I was maxed out. I had to I literally had to delete installs.
Same thing with Battlefield 3, man. After all the patches and updates and everything was said and done, that game ate up a chunk on the Xbox 360.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But that's what I'm saying.
Play it.
10 games, give or take, depending on your operating system, the couple of little things you download. You got about 10 games.
You're out at 10 games.
So you had to rotate those 10 games if you keep your launch system hard drive as it is.
That's the point that I'm bringing up. That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
That's another PR nightmare that they're going to face. Is because even in the Xbox's face,
Let's play devil's advocate a little bit. I want to play devil's advocate.
You like playing devil's advocate.
You're never really like playing more than 10 games at once, though.
You're not. But do you really want to go through through a nostalgic moment and be like, well, fuck, that's going to be a hindrance. You're not going to want to go play those old games. Or you're going to... it's
like a sign of the times. That's a problem you'll have to deal with. That's like the most first world shit ever, son. Oh, I gotta go download this. No, but you're never playing 10 games at a time. I'm just playing devil's advocate. You're never playing 10 games at a time, so you have to do this rotation dance when you start maxing out your around 10 game limit, right?
Yeah.
If you go digital only, I'm assuming if you download most of your games, you can delete it and still have the license and go back and re-download it at any time, right? That's how the Xbox does it now.
Yeah. So I would imagine it's not going to change.
So you might have to start dancing, playing the little musical chairs with these games here.
I knew you were going to say musical chairs. As soon as you said dancing,
stop the podcast.
I knew you. Nope.
Let's redo it.
Nope. The whole thing, the whole hour.
Yeah. No, but that's I'm trying to emphasize your point here. It's a nightmare, and you're going to reach that 10 game limit, give or take, and all of a sudden you're playing this weird dance of
that's absolutely
what do
correct.
I not like, what am I not going to play again, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it sucks. I think that by the time people get to that point, we may finally see external hard drive support. The problem is, what kind of hard drives are they going to support? Because you have to, as a console developer, if I'm in their shoes, I have to worry about the speed of those hard drives, and are they going to deliver an acceptable experience for the games?
Right.
Because those hard drives have to be fast, because they're going to come through USB, which is a slower port than fucking SATA that's internal, right? So you're going to be dealing with some issues, because if you don't have an updated hard drive, or you may have to buy a PlayStation and Xbox
that's what
certified hard drive.
I'm thinking they'll go like, so that route where it's like their own thing that you have to buy.
Yeah.
To ensure like an optimal experience.
Which is expensive. And, hard drives aren't expensive, but you know how these console manufacturers jack everything up just because it's got their name on it. So it could be a shitty situation. Overall, I'm worried to see what it's going to do, but we'll find out tomorrow as these PlayStations potentially break on everybody. I hate to see that, man. I really do. Genuinely, real talk from the heart. I do not want to see any one of these consoles do this.
There's a real possibility that people are listening to this right now, playing their PlayStation 4s, going, I'm good, bro. I got my shit's working.
Hey,
nothing's broken.
That's my genuine from the heart hopes.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to go out there and have a bad experience.
Yeah,
because
me too.
Gaming is about fun. It's about a great experience, and hopefully people eventually find the community that is the gamers like us and hang out with us. Much like we do in the live stream every week. We live stream this podcast, if you didn't know it, on twitch.tv/Team Caliber. And we live stream it. TK, we live stream the recording of the podcast. We're actually live streaming right now, but if you're listening to this later, we're not live streaming right now.
You like that? So that's a time machine, son.
Obviously, we're in the Matrix. So, so anyway, Thursday nights around 5:30, 6 o'clock, we fire up the live stream and do our live streaming thing. So come over, hang out with us again. Twitch.tv.
That's Central Time too, by the way.
Central Time. That's right. You got to say that, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm not used to that yet. Anyway, 5:30, 6 o'clock Central Time. Hang out with us. Twitch.tv/Team Caliber. We're also powered by Team Caliber. TeamCaliber.com/podcast is the definitive place to get this podcast in the future.
Yeah.
In the future. Because we're talking to people in the future.
Yeah. Shit gets weird, son.
Weird, man. When you stop to think about this, I'm in the future right now.
Yeah. And
somebody
you're in the
else.
past right now because they're not. Whatever. Go ahead.
Let's not go that
deep.
Do your spiel. Let's not go that deep.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can follow us on Twitter. I am at 2SickTV. You're at Sean _ Zulu.
Yeah, there's a surprise underscore in
Sean
there
_ Zulu. Figure out where the underscore goes. And don't forget to follow Team Caliber at Team _ Caliber. Thank you guys for joining us for episode 56 of the Startup X Gaming News Podcast. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
And we're out. Peace.